State of Affairs. I'm Steve Adubato. We're coming to you from the Agnes Varis NJTV studio. It's our pleasure to welcome Jared Maples, Director of the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness. Good to see you, Jared.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
You know, I'm sure people ask you all the time, how safe are we? Too broad a question. My question is, what are we doing to be as safe as the state needs to be?
It's a great question and something we think about quite a bit. There's always threat out there and something we talk about frequently. We put out our annual threat assessment, for example, the report about all the threats that we see here at the state. But what we're doing about it is working in collaboration. One thing I can assure the people in New Jersey is we work tightly with FBI, Federal Homeland Security, the New Jersey State Police, and all of our local and county partners to counter the threat, to make them aware of what the threats are and then what they can do about it. An important initiative we operate is getting the community aware of those same things. So the See Something, Say Something campaign, for example, in the terrorism world, some of the work we're doing with cybersecurity to make sure we're highlighting what those threats are, and again, most importantly, what they can do about them.
By the way, as we're talking to Jared Maples, who heads up Homeland Security in the state, the website will be up, and he talked about public awareness and information. It's part of what we are here for as well, so go on to that site to find out more. The 2019 Terrorism Threat Assessment, when you rank them, help us on this.
Sure.
Anarchist extremists who are mobilized around perceived injustice. You got ISIS, you got militia extremists, you got sovereign citizens who are anti-government groups who mainly target law enforcement, you got white supremacists. Is there a ranking there?
So yeah, the rankings are done for high, moderate, and low. Interesting part about our rankings are really two buckets or umbrellas of terrorism. There's international terrorism and domestic terrorism. We don't rank those. We break them down by ideologies, which we just listed. So we break them down, for example, a high threat in New Jersey, the highest threat is homegrown violent extremists. Rahimi Saipov, who did the West Side Highway truck ramming about a year and a half ago. Those are great examples of HVs and still something we see as a top-tier threat. Homegrown violent extremists.
That's the biggest threat?
Yep, but remember, we break them down by ideology. So realistically, all those threats, the international and domestic terrorism, are 1A and 1B. They're both high, top-level targets. The ideology is based off of threats, based off of where we know geographically they are, incidents that have happened in New Jersey, potential incidents that could happen in New Jersey. That's our methodology, without getting too far into all the specific details of how we bake the algorithm.
Jared, where does ISIS, quote-unquote, fit into this?
So it's interesting, HVs, or homegrown violent extremists, are inspired by groups like ISIS or Al-Qaeda, some of the major international terrorism organizations. We tier them as the lowest threat, the actual ISIS and Al-Qaeda core elements.
Lowest?
We do. So when they do an operation, for example, Al-Qaeda's signature attack was 9/11, right? There's a lot of key indicators and flags for the behaviors, directives emanating from the leadership, Zawahiri in this case, used to be bin Laden, obviously. There's a lot of different financial transactions that happen, logistics, quite frankly, and those are areas that the federal government in particular, but so too we at the state level, have really honed our approach at intercepting and heading off. So the homegrown violent extremists, the people are inspired by but not directed by, become a top-tier threat for us.
Talk about cybersecurity.
Yep. So we're responsible for cybersecurity in the state.
What's the threat?
The threat is evolving and persistent. It is every single day. A great example in New Jersey is in municipal governments. We've seen a huge uprise in what's called ransomware attacks. It could be, again, a police office, a school, an authority, a water authority, or something like that, have been attacked. They get in through spear phishing or phishing a lot of times, where they'll send an email that's encoded or encrypted with bad malware, they call it, which gets into the system itself. They take over the system and they hold it hostage, just like a kidnapping case, a regular traditional kidnapping. Just this case, it's online.
And by the way, give some folks, as the website goes up again, Jared, you hear people say, I got this email from the IRS, the FBI. I saw the logo. I got to do something.
Yep.
You say?
So a lot of times, well, number one is we put all the information out there about those threats on our website, again, at njhomelandsecurity.gov, or we also have cyber.nj.gov, which
say
is
say it again.
cyber.nj.gov. And that'll direct connect to the NJ KIC, which is the New Jersey Communications and Cyber Integration Cell. We're the first state in the United States to have something like that, which is analysis, threat sharing, threat information, and then mitigation techniques to get out of it when it happens. So they're engaged in all those incidents I talked about.
What is this one on cybersecurity? Girls Go Cyber Start is what?
Yep, so that's a great effort. That's a national level effort that we've tied into. I'm proud to say we're leading it across the United States. But Girls Go Cyber Start is a way to invigorate young women to get involved in STEM, and more importantly, and more specifically, into cyber activities. So it's a competition. They're welcome to come and they work through encryption codes and try to solve them. You don't have to have a computer background to do it, but it's just a great way to earn some money, scholarship money, for example, and get young women involved and interested in cyber.
Final question. We're very much involved in a series on the future of innovation.
Yeah.
How much of what you and your colleagues do every day is tied to, quote unquote, not just the future of innovation, but innovation today?
Quite a bit. We're almost a startup lab. We try and try to focus and innovate
As a
within the
government
Homeland
agency?
Security. Yeah, is that crazy?
Explain
So,
that.
As an innovation side, so we're constantly trying to find new ways to get at old problems and new problems. We're trying to get ahead of those, and sometimes it's through cyber. Of course, that's the easy nexus with technology, but also in counterterrorism. We're doing new things every single day to try to reimagine how we defend and protect New Jersey.
Just not looking at it the same way, and that's the innovative part?
That's the innovative part, yep. And we're trying, and if something doesn't work, we readdress it, try to fill those gaps and fix it. And that's a little different approach. Cyber is a great example of it, something we're doing that is out on the kind of the edge of the United States, quite frankly, but really looking at what we can do to innovate and make that better and get ahead of the threat. We know that there's hackers. How do we get ahead of it in a year or two?
Jared Maples is the director of the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness. Thank you and your colleagues for what you do every day to work to protect us. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Adubato. This is State of Affairs, and we will be right back.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, NJM Insurance Group, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and by NJIT,